Hey, thanks for joining me. So, another first issue of the extended titles from Jim Valentino's line of books. He obviously started out with Shadowhawk, and he wanted to branch out and do some other stuff, which everyone was doing. There wasn't a single creator out there at the time who wasn't. I mean, like, they had multiple reasons to create multiple books. One, the market was just eating everything up. So there was money to be made. And if ever you had some wild idea of a story and a concept that you wanted to get out there, by God, now is the time when they were making these books. Just do it. Get them out there. Hell, Liefeld did it to the highest degree to, significantly crap effect. Like every wild whim thought that he had ever come up in his head, he's like, make a book of that. And off people went making multiple books. It's insane. But why not, right? Let's make some money. Let's make some comics. Let's get your ideas out there. Now, I have very recently, as of this recording, I looked at The Others, issue 1, right here, recently, from Valentino's studio. And I was not a fan almost at all. And I kind of attribute, I didn't care. I didn't like the way the story was told from the writing and the layouts from Valentino. Patrick Blaine, if I understand correctly, I did have a chance to talk to him. I kind of know him a little bit. Pretty sure he said this was his first book. And it's a pretty impressive first book, like a debut book. But Valentino did the layouts and was the editor. And the story made no sense from like a narrative construct. Like, it just was all over the place. I didn't know what was going on. There's a whole video on it. You can go ahead and check it out. Patrick Blaine did a great job, as much as he could do. Jason Gorder is a great inker. He became a great inker. It's a very early work for him, so it's not like the best representation of what Jason Gorder can do, but great skilled inker very quickly. But The Others, didn't care for it. But when I found this copy of The Others, I also at the same time found this one, The Alliance. And I'm like, well, might as well get it. It only cost me $1 for each book. So that's nothing. And something new, content for the channel. And I look at this cover, and a couple things come to my mind immediately. This feels like Valentino just wanting to do a Guardians of the Galaxy type thing again. Colorful characters in space. And I don't know how else to say it except to be, completely honest. I've said that I like Valentino. I got no problems with the human being at all. I appreciate what he did. Seems like a really nice dude. But his interest in the kind of comics that he wants to make are so kind of out of touch with what the Kids and Image Comics was making at the time. Now, there's no problem. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do something different. That's 100% fine. I mean, why not? There needs to be a little bit more variety. We don't need another team of action heroes that all kind of look the same. I applaud the idea of doing something different, but Valentino's art, it's not my favorite thing. I don't know how else to say it. I'm just dancing around it. I'm not a big fan. Again, I liked his Guardians of the Galaxy run. I read most of it, and I enjoyed it. When they said Valentino was coming with them, I'm like, hey, might as well. He's kicking ass. So The Alliance. So here's a whole new thing, and I'm looking at these characters, and I'm like, there's no reason that I would want to pick this up as, what year was this? 95. I just graduated high school. In a sea of books from Image Comics at the time, I would never touch this thing. And these designs, without knowing anything, I have to this design on this fucking monster, without knowing who or what it is, I would just assume that this is just his naked body. And so he's wearing this harness that just comes down from his shoulders and then just cuts right into his dick, wearing a little man thong bikini thing with laser guns attached to the back of his wrists and giant metal Ugg boots. And there's some hot girl there with the long hair and floating, so probably magical. And then some tough girl showing a lot of skin there. Ghost spawn sitting here in the background, and then some flying guy. I'm just like, I wasn't feeling very hopeful that this is going to be very good. And I'm not trying to shit on a guy, but it's Jim Valentino, creator, writer, artist, then Dan Davis, inker. And so I did read this, and kind of the way with the others, it was a slog to get through. It was hard from a story perspective. The others it was hard to get through for different reasons than this one. And I kind of feel like as I read this, I kind of got the vibe of what I think Valentino was going for. And then in the back, there is a, Valentino. Valentino. This is from him. He talks about what this is and where it comes from. And basically, I had some different ideas. I wanted to do different things. And then he talks about how he was a big Star Trek fan and he's a big superhero fan, especially the big Legion fan. So he wanted to combine space, sci-fi, Star Trek type stuff with superhero stuff, which is Guardians of the Galaxy type stuff. He's like, I was missing Guardians of the Galaxy. I was kind of having fun. So they come up with this whole book and this idea and this concept. I'm like, okay, he's got ideas and these characters. And if you're a creative, once you get an idea in your head, you start ruminating and thinking about it and going over it in your head, sometimes the ideas just keep coming at you and it's just flowing and you're backlogging it in your mind or you're taking notes and you're like, God damn, I would love to create this book. And so Valentino gets to. But the way this story was told, it was so complicated. It was hard to follow. It's just like all set up, which it's a first issue. I mean, what else could a first issue be except set up everything? You have to introduce the characters, the setting, the good guys, the bad guys, protagonists, antagonists, the goal that each one of them are kind of going for. I get it. And I've said before, and I've heard a lot of pros say, first issues are hard because you have to set up all of that stuff, and it sucks. It's hard to get right. It's kind of easier once you get the first issue going, and you issue 2 and issue 3 to kind of get the ball rolling. And once you get story points going, you could start tying everything together, and you start getting to big events that need to have ducks in a row to get set up and pay off. I get it. But this thing, I was like, he is introducing so many different planets and people and cultures and names and races. It got to be too much. And I was like, by the time I was done slogging through this thing, I'm like, God, I'm so glad it's over. I don't ever want to read this book again, and I will never pick up another issue of it again. And again, I don't like saying that about Valentino. I'm not trying to shit on the man, but boy, is this thing not... And it's so dense with words because, again, there's all these text boxes. And if you follow my channel, you know how I feel about text boxes everywhere, just telling you stuff. But again, it's the first issue. We have to learn something. So the narration is from Ghost Spawn here. And you're talking about all these planets and all this galactic stuff. And as I was going through here, they're talking about, there's a little asterisk here. It says, the silence between the stars is deafening, but when it is broken, and it can be broken, the noise is a cacophony. Cacophony, Jesus Christ. Or so the observer notes. Before the observer lay Trias, a triple star system, the bloated orange giant Ka, the yellow G-class Proxima, and the red dwarf Zia, Xia, however you pronounce that. Each star boasts its own planets and is a system at war with itself. Okay. And then down here it says, see diagram on pages 16 and 17. I'm like, oh, okay, 16 and 17. And I was like, do they actually number the pages? And they do. Well, these are pages 16 and 17. There's 16. There's 17 right there. See diagram on pages 16 and 17. Well, okay. But then there's all these planets, and then like there's different cultures and races and people on all these planets, and we have to set them up. And there's wars going on, so here's spaceships dropping small crafts out. And then we get to interior of some, city space on one of these planets. And that's a pretty big, expansive sci-fi kind of backdrop. It's a little funny because it's very sci-fi, like high-tech, kind of tech walls and all that type of stuff. And then down here in the corner is a little bunk of like half-inch 4x8 sheets of like oak plywood from Home Depot. I'm like, what the fuck? What is with the wood siding amongst all this high advanced floaty alien super sci-fi technology? I literally laughed out loud. I'm like, what the fuck? Now, that could be anything, but whatever. A lot of time and effort went into drawing that background. And then we start introducing all these characters. Like, the text boxes are one color and one way for one character, and then it jumps over to a different text box, different color, different design to be the voice of this girl. And so she starts talking about who she is. She's like, something's not right, the way they work. The fear I feel. Oh, what are they like? She's just going on like we're introducing this character and how she doesn't like how some things are going. This is rough. Oh my God, she starts taking her clothes off. All right, you got my attention. Then we cut to another planet and another character. And so here's this girl running away, and I was like, okay, like Star Trek, we're on different planets, different cultures, and this is not the first time where you're going to see this entirely different planet that just looks like rundown New York City streets. It's like got cobblestone bricks and like actual fucking human garbage cans as she's run. Now, we're not on Earth. This is not Earth. This is some other alien planet. But it's just kind of like, for lack of a better description, it's kind of like Valentino doesn't have the knowledge or ability to draw all kinds of weird alien environments. And that's hard to do. I'm not trying to say that as like, oh, it's really fucking simple, but you have to give it some kind of visual aesthetic to make it look different. Have all the buildings on one planet be bubble round dome shaped. And then have all the buildings on another planet be giant spired pointy crystal lattice things. And then have another planet be all water. Something to differentiate it. But this girl is just running around on a planet that looks like old New York City. She's running. She's, a troublemaker, but of course she's going to be one of the heroes. These guys are chasing her. They're shooting lasers at her. She has to go down through an alleyway, jump into a sewer, because I guess the sewers are just open, dives face first into it. I was like, what the hell? Look at this kind of ass drawing on her. I was like, these are her ass cheeks. This is her ass crack. But then why does this line come up here? It looks really weird. But she dives into the sewer, tuck, roll, land into the, unbearable, unspeakable sludge of human waste shit or alien shit, whatever, running around, and then she runs straight into alien creatures that are hunting her. And I'm like, again, Valentino's art is trying to do 90s edgy, hyper designy, cool image comic shit, and his art does not lend itself to that. These are some of the crappiest designs and the weakest kind of like, it could be worse. I don't know. I feel like Valentino's trying to do something that he's not good at. He's got a more kind of old school kind of comic aesthetic that he likes, and he's trying to do the modern edgy stuff of the 90s, and he doesn't fit it. He tried to do it with Shadowhawk, and it sort of worked. But these guys look so stupid. I'm sorry. And they got those legs that are kind of double jointed. There's a specific term for it when, like on animals, where their legs kind of are bent backwards and they got kind of horse hoof things. This is a specific alien race, and they're after her, but they got golden armor and spikes and ammo belts, and they're just ridiculous looking. And it's not powerful or scary, or intimidating. She's like, she's like, I'm just too good for them. They're like, oh, going somewhere? Nah, girl, she ain't going nowhere except, of course, to the slave ship. To the slave ship. Ha ha. She's like, oh shit. So she sits there and she thinks to herself, she's like, all right, there's two of them. They're big, heavily armed. They could eat me alive. Oh, what the hell? So she just jump kicks one of them right in the face. Doesn't affect him in the slightest. And then again, you get almost the exact same shot. Just there they are, side by side. Because like they were right there, side by side. The only thing that's different is that they're pointing their guns at her now. She's like, oh God, they're going to kill me for sure. They're like, think we should just kill it now and be done with it, Gore? He's like, nah, this one's got spirit. I'll bet you she'll wind up getting transferred to Goras. All right. And then we get a text balloon, or I guess we're jumping to a new scene. It says, and the armor. Where is it now? Uriah? 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 I don't even fucking know. Because that text balloon is supposed to lead you into this scene. Now, this shot is pretty good. It's elevated shot. It looks alien. It looks kind of weird. There's a bunch of weird people and interesting details in the background. So I feel like he nailed that one. That's good. But more alien creatures with weird names. And they keep talking. He's like, it's on the station, Orlais. I have a team of Tiberians studying it as we speak. I do not trust those Tiberians. You don't trust anyone, Orlais. That is true, Ringka, but he is especially distrustful of aliens. What say you, old Ulf? What does the priesthood think? There's a lot of names being thrown around here. So there's this old thing. So now these creatures, at least some of these creatures here, are from the race of these guys here. But this is an old one. It's part of the priesthood. So this one says, clearly the ancient writings of Kol prophesize the weapon's existence, Ugar. Armor so powerful it would render its bearer invulnerable. So younger guys like old fool's tales, if you ask me, invincibility can only be found in the grave. Do not blaspheme, Ringka. I'll not sit for it. Jeez, I can't even read that. It's the Danahian, I think. The Donhanian armor is the weapon of the Proverbs. Of that I am certain. He's like, humph. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of names. And then there's giant goofball alien thing. I saw that. I'm like, he looks so stupid. But take that same design and give it to David Finch or Stephen Platt. I bet they make it look awesome. Again, this is just not in what Valentino's wheelhouse. And maybe he had a great time doing it. I don't know. This is just my kind of personal opinion, but it looks ridiculous. And so this guy's like, as am I, old one, as am I. Even though I am not one with the ancient faith, only a fool would deny how many of the ancient prophecies have come to pass of late. Our association with the blue-skinned Tiberians, our victory over the pink Donanians, this very council of generals, the warlord of the stars, wasn't it? Oh my God. So much backstory and lore we're setting up. So they just keep talking. Bad guys want to rule the universe. Jesus Christ. Moving on to another new planet. So we have this guy. This dude who's flying through. Now I just want to double check. I guess it says the name Dane, and it says the name Dane over here. I kind of thought that this guy here is just like, they're all from different planets, because they're like, look, this just looks like old school New York too. But I guess they're the same planet. But this guy's flying around, bad guy ships chasing him. He charges up his powers, crackling energy. He's a good guy trying to stop these bad guys. And we get a big bathroom. Oh, no, it says barroom. Just need a T and an H. Bathroom. And he says zap. Zap. Blows away the ship. He's like, yeah, score one for the good guys. And then Ghost Spawn shows up, and he's basically recruiting him like, hey, there's shit going on in the universe. It sucks. I need you. There's a greater battle just beyond this planet. Zap. His name is Zap. A battle that your special powers could help win. If you'll join us in space, what say you? I'm like, okay. So Ghost Spawn is gathering unto him all these people. All right, now we get another scene of another character and just littered with text boxes as this girl's asleep and she's having nightmares about alien ships and burning cities and people dying, children burning to death. She's screaming, wakes up screaming, freaking out, and her scream is torn from her very soul, which is like the most cliche, childish bit of descriptive text I've ever read. I've read that type of thing 1,000 times in terrible comics. Her scream is torn from her very soul, and the incomprehensible horror of it all pulls her violently back into the waking world, awakening a latent psychic power within her and releasing it across the cosmos. Releasing it across the cosmos themselves, even to a star away. There is a sun called Ka, and it is the closest stellar neighbor to Dane's star Proxima, and its only inhabited planet. I can't even pronounce some of this shit. Spelled Cocyystus. Coccystus? 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 You don't want that. A scream is heard. His name is unpronounceable by any human tongue, being a series of clicks and a scent. For our purposes, we shall call him Clone. I was like, wait, stop, stop. In the comic, The Others, flipping it open, there's a weird red-caped bug thing right there. And I was going through it, I'm like, and somewhere, they mention his name, but it's him. It's Clone, bug thing with red cape. He's here. I was like, what? How why? Yeah, right here. Kitty guy mentions to Clone, the bug thing. Now this is set in like modern day Earth, like superhero comics of the 90s. This is a far in the future, I assume, thing. So Clone is in both books, presumably centuries apart, which he could. Oh, but there's Clone. So you have a giant bug thing again. I appreciate the idea of like, we're going to do a comic with alien creatures and we're making some of them extremely alien. Like they can't all be fuckable hot girls because the girls are very hot and fuckable. That seems to be like a must. Bug thing, definitely not fuckable unless you're into that shit. And then, all right, well, bug thing. He's like, for our purposes, we shall call him Clone. He is a troubled being from an even more troubled world. And with this scream heard from so far away, his troubles will only become more compounded. Well, I guess I feel bad for him. And then suddenly there's the trias system. I was like, oh, is this the map system that it tells you to look at on the first page? See diagram on pages 16 and 17. That is not pages 16 and 17 as per the actual physical page lettering on the art itself. Whatever. And it tells you nothing. Like, hey, there's a galactic core and there's a couple of stars and then the orbital paths of different planets. Does that tell you anything that you fucking need to know? Again, I could feel like a guy's trying to do like a Star Trek type comic. We want to see a galactic. Again, I mentioned Star Trek. You could say it's more Star Wars, whatever. It mentions how they like Star Trek. So I'm just leaning into that and I'm a Trek fan. Old school Trek fan. Current shit sucks. But yeah, there's all this shit. They want to throw that in there. It doesn't help anything. I'm like, oh, now I know where Proxima is in relation to the planet Dre and the planet Remen and the planet Lidon and Tosk and Actius and Tiberius. Is that James Tiberius Kirk? Like, who cares? Doesn't do anything. But Bug Guy, he's like concentrating his eyes, focusing to a pinpoint, sacrificing peripheral vision for distance. He sees a star beyond his own. He sees a strange machine in space and issuing from it great transports on their way to another world, a world with cities on fire, a world being destroyed. He watches in silent terror until he can look no more. He turns away from the carnage, from the burning and the pain. His loyalty is to his own world this day. Okay? And Bug Thing, he comes down to a plan. He says, for on this day, one representative of each of the 5 species nations will meet here in a building unlike any other on the planet, a building strategically located to house their union of nations, his world's last best hope for peace. And while his soul aches for those beings suffering so far away, Coccystis must come first. Coccepsis must come first. The other world will have to solve its own problems. That's kind of an interesting shot of Bugface guy. There's a lot thrown in there. Like, he just witnesses the most horrific shit, but he's like, sorry, no time. I got my own shit to deal with. Anyway, girl who got caught by the giant monster things in the sewer several pages ago by these guys, they captured her. Well, now she's in a ship being transported with a bunch of other human slaves. And of course, Valentino's trying to do, like, here's the hot shot of the girl. See how much skin she's showing? See how her tits are barely being held together by this one strap? Lots of sexy tummy being shown. This is not in Valentino's, like, skill set to draw hot girls. Like, the body's kind of fine. But it feels but drawing a character showing so much unnecessarily visible skin and her tits half hanging out. Like, again, if you know me, I like hot girls. I like sexy art. But when it's a costume design that looks so stupid, it feels like it rings really untrue to who and what Valentino seems to be interested in. It would hurt nothing and it would change nothing to cover her up a bit. But it just feels ridiculous. And then even just kind of the rendering on it, like putting these like cross-hatching lines under her little bottom ab things, it just looks weird. It just it's not working for me. But she's been captured and she's with a bunch of humans, so she's going to be made a slave and she's got to get away and we got to form a team, right? And so now they're all being herded into a place and we get the, giant face shot heavily shadowed as she's like, I'll find my way out of this godforsaken place and I'll blow it straight to hell on my way out. Oh my gosh, she's so cool. So now the ship she's on to get to another place, they unload all the humans or whatever, slave labor into a room. She's walking along and I guess she stops. She's looking for a way out. And I don't know, does she go in a door? I wasn't sure what she did there. No. Okay, right. We walk by the door and then we stop at the door and there's a guy inside there. And it looks like he's naked. I don't think he is. I think he's got some underwear on. But he's just really sad because he screwed up. Everything that happened was his fault. He should have listened, but he didn't. I should have learned, but I wouldn't. And when my time came for me to shoulder the responsibility, I didn't. And he talks about this whole like superhero backstory of how his dad created a suit of armor, a power suit that might have been the single greatest weapon on the planet. So I was like, oh, okay. So the guy on the cover that has the stupid man bikini outfit, that's not the skin of the being itself. It's an entire suit of Iron Man armor that is still wearing a ridiculous outfit that comes down like a V shape pointing straight to his fucking alien dick. It's really stupid. But they're trying to give you this backstory on this character, which is kind of cliche backstory. Like, he's a kid and his dad invented a super Iron Man suit and went off to be a badass. His dad kept trying to get the kid to be interested, but the kid, who is the guy in prison, could not give less of a shit. So dad joined a team of superhero beings on his weird alien planet, wherever they are. He says, when the Gorazians attacked him, the rest of the superior squad joined forces to repel them. There was Xanathos, who claimed to be a living god. Tower, the tallest man alive. Good Lord, are you kidding me? You're shouting out, his tagline is, the tallest man alive? Who the fuck cares if somebody's tall? I'm tall, it doesn't make me awesome. I mean, it does a little bit. The tallest man alive, the Bird and Brute. There's Bird and there's Brute. And my father, Firepower. His name is Firepower. So they fight things, but his dad fell, he died, and the armor was supposed to be passed to the kid. And the kid's like, all right, he wanted me to put on the suit of armor. I protested, but he wouldn't hear it. He said it was my duty. He made me swear, and then he died. So then he just buries his dad in a pile of rocks, puts on the suit of armor, flies up into the sky, and his superhero teammates don't realize, they don't understand that it's not the same dude in the suit. They're like, firepower, am I glad to see you? I thought you went down. So this was all in the same battle. His dad crashes, has a heart-to-heart conversation with his son, telling him, you have to take up the mantle, son. So the son ran out to the battle site, found his dying father, fucking buried his body under a bunch of rocks, puts on the suit, flies up, and then now just continues the battle that was going on, to where his teammates are like, oh my God, I thought you were dead or you went down. And they're like, they killed Tower. Remember the guy whose ability was that he's the tallest man ever? Xanathos is holding his own, and the Brute's in trouble. I need you to blast those ships. Okay. So kid, now in the suit of armor, he's like, I didn't learn how to use the suit, so I didn't know what to do. So I tried to tell her that I wasn't my father, that I didn't know how to fire the wrist blasters. So instead, I did the only thing I could think of doing. So he just runs into the alien ships, blowing them up. But then the explosion sent shrapnel and killed the bird lady. So this is like superhero origin. He's like, I ignored my father. I took up his mantle. And because I didn't have great power equals great responsibility, I got hot fuckable bird girl killed. I still fucked her dead corpse. It was fresh. It was fine. But then I wandered off, and now I'm in prison, and they're going to kill me because I fucked a dead corpse. This sucks. And then Ghost Spawn shows up. He's like, yo, what's up, my dude, my homie, what's up? I'm creating a new team of Guardians of the Galaxy type shits. You want to join us? And he's like, who are you? He's like, a wanderer, an observer, and I hope to be a friend. You may call me Dr. Infinity. Call him Ghost Spawn. To be continued. No, it won't. It was too much. Too much thrown in. Too many names, too many characters, too many. It did not work for me. And I looked up, I think these only went a couple of issues and then they were canceled. Probably because they weren't hitting sales numbers that they needed to hit to justify their publication, which were probably numbers that anybody today would die to have. There were probably like 80,000 copies, like, you're selling not enough, so you got to cancel that shit. So Alliance, I'm sorry, Valentino, he failed. For me. Did not care for the others, did not care for the Alliance. I like the idea of sci-fi stuff, but it just feels like Valentino's just trying to recapture the Guardians of the Galaxy glory days that he had just a few years ago. And again, I don't know if it went into the future and got better, but I'll never know because I'm not going to intentionally seek them out. So I don't know. I mean, tell me, if you read these and did you like them? Were they any good? It's not for me. But, they made a book. They tried a thing. Who wouldn't? Just try anything, right? Just go for it. But Alliance, first stellar issue. I didn't dig it. That's all I got for now. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. As always, I'll see you next time.